My name is Lea Graham. I'm an environmental management and protection major, and my team worked on a project called Buzz Off. And this was specifically targeted towards varroa mites, which are the number one cause of honeybee colony collapse. And it was essentially a device that was placed on the front of commercial beehives that could detect and remove the varroa mites. Aside from the fact that it spans the entire year, essentially, it was, I think, the only project I've ever worked on that really touched on any kind of skill set that I could possibly think of that would relate to my academic or my future professional life. There were just so many different skills that we acquired over that course of 1 year because you are creating a project, you're marketing it, you're collaborating, you're researching, you're doing outreach. It's all of these different elements that you're thrown into and forced to, obviously with help, but forced to figure out. And so it really develops your skill set in that way. Having to work with other students who weren't my friends that I had known before or people that I'd worked with in my major previously was honestly so rewarding, like super valuable. My group mates Grace and Zoila brought so many different perspectives and they contributed to the project in technical ways that I couldn't even dream of. Like Zoila was a CS major and she worked on a lot of the infrared heat detection technology and Arduinos and like all of these random things that I have no idea about. And Grace, it was materials engineering. So she created an entire prototype, like 3D printed our prototype and was something that we could give to the judges. And that was super valuable and I think really put us at an advantage. The faculty mentors were like invaluable. They were super, super supportive. We made it a point in our group to visit the individual office hours of every single faculty member, even outside of the weekly office hours that they do as a group. And that was really helpful just to get to know them more, and they got to give us more specific advice geared to our project. They were all just really kind, but also very constructive. Like they always gave it to us straight. And if something wasn't working with our project, they would tell us. We knew that we wanted to work on the topic of helping mitigate that bee population decline, but we didn't know exactly how. So we were reaching out to like cold calling all of these professional beekeepers and pest removers and just anyone who would give us their advice. And I think we overthought it so much to the point where we were trying to make something so complex and unique and original. And then we kind of just stopped for a moment and said, okay, like our issue is bee colony decline. We know that there's bee colony collapse that's happening at an exponential rate at this time. What is causing it? The number one leading cause is varroa mites, these pests that invade hives and they take over and they can eat bee pupa, and they're just awful. Like they're the number one contributors. So how do we stop that from happening? We just create a device that stops them from entering hives. And it was honestly that simple in the end. And it sounds so simple coming out of my mouth now, but at the time we were just overthinking everything. But I feel like that's how most products happen. You find a problem and you think, how can we solve it? I think this experience taught me that everyone's viewpoints are so valuable, and even if they don't end up in whatever your final product is, it's really important to challenge your own perception, especially just coming from one major and one perspective of what I've been taught. And it's also taught me that there are moments where you have to step up and be a leader and know when you can contribute. And then there are moments of humility where you have to kind of step back and know where your weak spots are and where your strong points are. and be able to implement those in the best way you can. I would say that if you have the time and the drive to do so, I would absolutely recommend applying. It really was such a valuable experience. I've gained so many skills and strengthened skills. Also, that is honestly really similar to Shark Tank, which is really fun because you're basically creating a product and you're pitching it. Especially that final presentation, we had some cheesy moments in our presentation where we were like introducing Buzz Off, and it was like really silly, but it was really fun. You're going to be able to articulate the ways in which you've gained these skills because you are doing them in such a hands-on, complex way where you're failing and you're getting feedback and you're growing and you're expanding and you're challenging your views. And I think that's what's really unique about it and what makes it so special. The actual presentation was definitely nerve-wracking. Honestly, pretty exciting. There were some really cool professionals who judged the projects. Also getting to see what everyone else worked on, because at a certain point, everything becomes so secretive. You're not allowed to know anyone else's projects. You're not allowed to be in the same breakout room during the office hours, so you won't know other teams' ideas. And that was the most exciting part, to see us all get the same prompt of find any global issue, create a product that addresses it, and for all of us to have these like drastically different ideas and ways of promoting it. That was really interesting to learn from other groups as well.